International criminal law is the field of international law that regulates the behavior of states, organizations, and individuals operating across boundaries in committing international crimes. International criminal law also governs the commission of serious crimes occurring on the territory of sovereign states, where those crimes constitute genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, or crimes of aggression. The prohibition, prevention and punishment of such crimes have been recognized as just cogens and obligations erga omnes in the global legal order. Faced with the challenge that, in the traditional view, individuals were not direct addressees of international rules, and thus normally could not be held personally accountable for breaches of international law, both the Nuremberg Tribunal and the International Military Tribunal for the Far East established the doctrine of individual criminal responsibility to punish war criminals, by noting that individuals can be punished for violation of international law. Crimes against international law are committed by man, not by abstract entities, and only by punishing individuals who commit such crimes can the provisions of international law be enforced. Article 3 of the Statute of the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia widens the scope of individual criminal responsibility to offences committed in the context of non-international armed conflicts. International criminal law is practiced by and prosecuted within international criminal tribunals. There are two categories of international criminal tribunals. They are permanent tribunal and ad hoc, or temporary tribunals. The International Criminal Court, ICC, is the only permanent tribunal established in the world. This court has a mandate to investigate and prosecute cases worldwide, but its jurisdiction is limited to the countries that have accepted its jurisdiction. For instance, the United States does not recognize the International Criminal Court jurisdiction, thus, neither its government nor its citizens are subject to the International Criminal Court jurisdiction. Ad hoc, or temporary tribunals deal with specific national and international conflicts and the crimes committed by the armed parties involved in them. They have temporary mandates, which are dissolved after accomplishing their objectives. Among the most famous tribunals are the International Military Tribunal of Nuremberg, which prosecuted and condemned Germany's military and political leaders after World War II, and the International Military Tribunal for the Far East, also known as the Tokyo Tribunal, which sentenced Japanese leaders for their involvement in their actions against the United States and its allies. Currently, ad hoc tribunals as the Special Tribunal of Lebanon are still operating. The concept of international crimes is not defined by a universally accepted formulation, however they are usually referred to as breaches of international rules entailing the personal criminal liability of the individuals concerned, crimes that involve direct individual criminal responsibility under international law, or even punishable acts or conduct prescribed by international law. International criminal law outlines four main categories of international crimes: genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes and the crime of aggression. According to the Article 6 of Rome Statute of International Criminal Court, genocide is the act of killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group, committed with the intention to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial or religious group. The Genocide Convention establishes in Article 1 that the crime of genocide may take place in the context of an armed conflict, international or non-international, but also in the context of a peaceful situation. Crimes against humanity are identified by the Article 7 of the Rome Statute as the act of murder, extermination, enslavement, deportation or forcible transfer of population, imprisonment, or other severe deprivation of physical liberty in violation of fundamental rules of international law. Torture, rape, sexual slavery, enforced prostitution, forced pregnancy, enforced sterilization, or any other form of sexual violence of comparable gravity. Persecution against any identifiable group or collectivity on political, racial, national, ethnic, cultural, religious, gender as defined in paragraph 3, or other grounds that are universally recognized as impermissible under international law, in connection with any act referred to in this paragraph, or any crime within the jurisdiction of the court. Enforced disappearance of persons. The crime of apartheid. Other inhumane acts of a similar character intentionally causing great suffering, or serious injury to body, or to mental or physical health. According to Article 7(1) of the Rome Statute, crimes against humanity do not need to be linked to an armed conflict and can also occur in peacetime, similar to the crime of genocide. A war crime is a serious violation of international humanitarian law committed during armed conflict. It encompasses acts that are prohibited by international treaties and conventions, including the Geneva Conventions and the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. The following acts are war crimes under Rome Statute Article 8, willful killing, torture or inhuman treatment, including biological experiments, willfully causing great suffering, or serious injury to body or health, extensive destruction and appropriation of property, not justified by military necessity, and carried out unlawfully and wantonly, compelling a prisoner of war or other protected person to serve in the forces of a hostile power, willfully depriving a prisoner of war or other protected person of the rights of fair and regular trial, unlawful deportation and transfer or unlawful confinement, taking of hostages. According to Article 8 bis of Rome Statute, crime of aggression means the planning, preparation, initiation, or execution, by a person in a position effectively to exercise control over, or to direct the political or military action of a state, of an act of aggression which, by its character, gravity and scale, constitutes a manifest violation of the Charter of the United Nations. Act of aggression means the use of armed force by a state against the sovereignty, territorial integrity, or political independence of another state, or in any other manner inconsistent with the Charter of the United Nations.